Hello, chess fans. Today I'll be streaming Elite Chess, Elite Chess 4545 960 game. I'm going to be playing. I'm going to be. Ooh, I just ran over a mile, so I can't think straight. And my dog is playing with a toy here. So I'm going to be playing a 20+20 game with EIE 24 or something like that, and afterwards I invited him to analyze the game with me. In fact, I think I should I need to update the stream category. It's gonna be 960 league game on leaguechess.org, and that's the updated stream title. He should be here any minute. Need to drink some water. After you go running, you should drink water. I just literally finished running like 5 minutes ago. That's nice. Nice. Let's see here. Make sure you guys can see stuff. Here comes the challenge. Oh, I need to put my let's see, the follower goal. Where does that want to live? Oh, this is the chess.com layout. Let's go to the Elite Chess layout. And follower goals right there. I'm going to put a text, please no move suggestions, because it is a league game. So I take it extra seriously about move suggestions. And we're off to the races. EIE 24. He has white. Good luck. Have fun. My dog wants to play. There's like 5 toys. I'm going to take my dog on a long walk. Here's my dog, Dottie. I'm going to take her on a long walk after this streaming, because she's wants to play. She has lots of energy. Thanks for the recent follows and support, all you guys who subscribe and follow this channel. Thank you very much. So, well, this looks like regular chess. The only difference between this and regular chess is the rook and the knight. This is funny. I'm going to tell him, just make a comment. This looks so much like normal chess. I don't think I have my layout proper. Let me make sure my layout is proper. I think it's not proper. I'm going to go blank for a second and make sure my layout's proper. Oh, here we go. That's better. That looks nicer. I think you guys will agree. Yeah, 275 followers. I can't believe it. Almost 300. To me, that seems like a lot. My opponent is disappointed that it's so much like regular chess. Yeah, I could feel your pain there. Well, it's different because, yeah, I think a Caro-Kann makes a lot of sense in this setup, because in the Caro-Kann, this knight on b8 can't go out, so I'm going to go with like a Caro-Kann type of setup here. I'm not as disappointed. I'm kind of confused. It is very much like chess. I'm kind of confused how similar it is to chess for a 960 game, but I'm not really disappointed. It's still, the difference between the knight being here and here is still kind of interesting to me. But I can empathize with his disappointment. And I will invite him to the stream after the game. I see he's a very powerful player. I think I've played him in other leagues. He has a classical rating of 2173, blitz of 2220, so he's right at my level. So he's taking it very seriously, and I should follow suit and take this really seriously. So yeah. So he goes with d4, and here comes Caro-Kann, very much like a Caro-Kann. If you hear grumbling sounds, it's just me wrestling my dog. If you hear wild, if you see like a crazy looking wolf in the background, it's just my box the door. She's really deprived of. I didn't take her on a walk yesterday, so she's really needs to get some energy out. She's a year old. Ooh. Anyway, I should focus more on the chess game. She's so vicious. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Ooh, since it's a long game, I might as well put some chill music on here. Let's go to Twitch Beats. I've been into this category called lo-fi that basically, thanks to the soundtrack by Twitch, I was introduced to this lo-fi, which is very interesting. Let's see. Yeah, lo-fi hip-hop. Never really heard of it until recently, and it's pretty nice. That could be some nice stuff. Lo-fi, I guess, is opposite of hi-fi. I'm noticing that I can't block with the knight in case of bishop check, but I can block with the bishop. This diagonal is slightly weaker. Whoa, the base is like, whoa. Let me turn down the volume just a wee bit. That's some killer bass right there. That's better. Okay. So I normally like to play knight here to attack the pawn, and I can't do it right now. It is kind of awkward. Okay, well, I will just develop my knight then. I wonder if he will go for c4. c4 weakens pawns, but makes my diagonal more vulnerable. c4 actually would threaten a queen. Oh, I could play queen check and take the pawn, like a greedy monkey. I wonder if I should be a greedy monkey in this position. Check. Probably not. Probably he would love me to take the pawn. Check. Let's say that he blocks with the pawn. I take. My queen is like generally stuck back here. It doesn't feel that appetizing to take the pawn. It feels like sour grapes. Check. Queen, pawn blocks. Queen takes. Knight here. Oh, I guess my queen could back up here. It feels like my queen's so out of place for so long. It's extremely uncomfortable. Just extremely uncomfortable. I'm realizing that knight c7 is interesting here. I can't counter the knight on going to this square. I really want to pin this knight to prevent the outpost, which is a logical continuation. But I can't really stop the knight from coming here because he has bishop check. And in fact, knight here next move, even to stop the pin, would be interesting. Especially if I play knight c7, knight here would be what you might expect. Yeah. So knight here, knight here. If I play knight here, I would love to just pin that knight. Maybe even trade it off the board. Gosh, it's so tempting to just grab that pawn. I think objectively, it's probably not the best. His development looks pretty frightening there. I might just deal with the fact that his knight's coming in and try to maybe admit that it's kind of laborious. Because I might want to go knight into b6. This is also awkward because he could just block it. I don't know. Knight b6 is normally a good idea. It does waste a move and block his knight also. So knight here. Maybe his knight wants to come into these squares also. The difference in this position is he has a bishop to guard against my knight move. And I don't have a bishop to try to fight for the square. Grabbing the pawn, pawn blocks queen takes by knight b6, and even if I play queen a4, he plays rook a1, queen moves. He still gets my pawn back anyway, actually, if he wants. So queen a4 check is a big mistake, I think. There is a solid option g6, bishop g7. Just kind of let him have control of the square. Maybe play bishop f5 later. Like, I'm so used to like regular chess that I didn't realize that he develops the bishop with a tempo. That's pretty. This is already looking really bad, really awkward for me. I did not want to have to move. I can't even castle queenside if I wanted to now. Not that queenside's the ideal spot to castle, but that was developing with the tempo. If I would have realized that hit my rook, I would have been more alert and played e6 definitely to counter with bishop d6. But I do like this fianchetto setup at the same time. But losing the tempo, that stings a little bit. He's preparing. If I play knight h5, it's the typical idea to play bishop h2. So he's just gonna go with that. Maybe he wants to play g4 to stop me from playing bishop f5. That would also be. Oh, he's also stopping my pin right here, because I guess if I pin him and he plays check, I could block with the knight. So maybe he's doing this. This feels a little slow, although it's nothing wrong with it. But it maybe makes up for my lost tempo over here. So I'm a little bit happy to see that move, even though it's a good move. It's not rapid. But I didn't see anything rapid enough for him to punish my lack of development anyway. Hey man, how's it going? Mad Quick, welcome to the stream. Just went for a morning run again for the second day in a row. So been doing a lot more of that, running for more than one day at a time. So I'm getting into that habit. It's actually starting to become a habit. How about you? How's the running going? You got did you do half a marathon yet? I forgot. I think you did, right? But yeah, welcome back. Quick, thanks for all the subs and gifted subs that you've been giving to the community. I really appreciate all your support there. It means a whole lot. I gotta check you out. Are you gonna stream? Are you gonna stream today? I'll check you out if you're streaming. Knight c2. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, gonna castle. It's possible he wants to try to change his mind and checkmate me and castle queenside, but I'm gonna risk it. Oh, I can't I have to put my king on my rook to castle. Yep. Bison pork chop chicken breast, awesome, man. And I cooked an awesome healthy, like a bean soup with like some kind of like pork, and I put like a ton of turmeric in it, and it made it too bitter. It was awesome. It had collard greens, beans, chicken stock, tomatoes, garlic, ancho chili pepper. It was in the making of a perfect dish. It had some put some olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, red wine vinegar, and then I just destroyed it with abundance of turmeric. Yeah, see you, Divikar. Thanks for stopping. Yeah, your class is the priority, so focus on your school. Tiger prawn, salmon steak. Oh, are you going on paleo, more protein phase right now? Or are you like low carb kind of phase right now? I forgot if you were. Somebody was telling me about this cycle. It's called a carb cycling diet. I don't know if you've heard of carb cycling. One day is like high in carbs, and you run on those days, and the other days are more like paleo, more what's that word? Keto type of diet. Okay, so I'm really tempted to play bishop f5. Dang, that's awesome, man. $20 a pound. You have to take a stab in the dark at $20 a pound. Yeah, it's pretty much big shrimp. If you don't overcook it, it comes out really nice. I think, obviously stuff like fresh herbs like thyme and oregano, maybe just one little small splash of lemon juice, a very small splash of lemon juice with some grass-fed butter or something like that. Sounds pretty good. That's how I would do it. Yeah, he castled kingside. Okay. I think my bishop's just gonna be terrible the whole game unless I play this move. So I will deliberately ruin my structure so I can fight for the center. Let's see what happens. That's a good point. Do you have a dietitian that you're consulting with right now? I would love to consult. If you have a recommendation, I would love to check it out. Yeah, it's like acting like you could read your own chess, but you're new to chess and you think you're gonna do the perfect you're gonna play the perfect opening and you don't even consult the chess coach. A chess coach can be very, very valuable for guiding you. I mean, you could do a lot of research on chess on your own, just like you could do a lot of research on nutrition, but without a coach to guide you. Like, why not take that step if you're that serious? Yeah, thanks, man. I'll check it out. Yeah, I've hired a trainer before, but I've never actually spoken with a dietitian. Feedback loop. I see, yeah. It's like a positive echo chamber that gets you in the right groove, I guess, and leads to overall like like exponential health growth kind of thing, or compounding interest on your health, something like that maybe. So we're both. I'm managing my time decently this game. I've got to speed up in the next 5 or 10 moves. Speed up just a tiny bit though. By the way, this was a Caro Kann of a 960 game where the only difference was a rook and knight were switched. So I decided to play Caro Kann, but I regretted some things that happened. Like I did not realize, bam, I get tempoed. Ouch. That's gonna put me at a disadvantage. And yeah, I decided I had to weaken my pawn structure. Oh, he doesn't care about that. I think he's a really good player, and he realizes if he takes, even though my pawns are doubled, it would strengthen my center. So it looks like if he takes, he's more than happy to get his knight to d3 and c5 and so forth. So and if I play knight e4, he might play just g4, making my bishop basically putting my bishop in an awkward spot, and he might be planning to play g4, which doesn't really, because this knight's like stranded over here, it doesn't really hurt him that much. It would be nice to post this knight up over here, but I'm worried it would backfire with queen over here right now. I could go for a3, a6, or a5. Queen b3 still concerns me in a lot of positions. Any way to deal with this queen b3 threat, I wonder. This song sounds like someone's like squishing water in their mouth or chewing on bubblegum. Really strange stuff here. Man, I want to play knight e4. If I trade and play knight e4, maybe that's tenable. Maybe that's the way to go. Because I don't see any productive measures. If I play queen here, it walks into knight e5. Although knight e5, maybe I'll go queen here and how does that play out? If he trades queens, my knight's stranded or not really stranded? Hard to say. His knight looks good there. Not a fan of that. His knight for the time being is kind of awkward. Okay, time to stop talking and play a move. Bishop e4 is actually an interesting move, but I think I want to put my rook on a half-open file, but the only thing that makes me hesitant is the queen coming out. What do I do against queen here? Such a strong move, actually, in my opinion. Maybe that's why he played knight e1, just to play queen b3. He's gonna come join after the game, so he'll tell me what he was thinking. If I do have a plan to play here, just to stop queen b3, maybe, even though my pieces are slightly awkward in the endgame, at least I would be dealing somehow with the queen b3 idea. So let's say knight e5, queen a4. If he plays b3, grabs pawn, rook over, queen takes pawn. All these pawns are hanging. So let's say he trades queens. Knight takes a4, bishop b5, knight b6. I could chase the bishop back in a little bit, and he can't play bishop b5 really because that's hanging actually. If he trades off, he has a better structure in the endgame, but I actually am really scared about queen b3. I don't know what to do against it, so I'm going to invite knight e5 and just get maybe position my queen over to the queen side. I just don't think my queen's gonna get trapped here for some reason, but maybe I'm completely wrong. I think he has two pieces over here, which makes it hard to trap my queen. But we'll see what happens. Yeah. Now that I'm done sweating, I'm gonna go get my hat. There's my my signature look, classic like hipster hat fedora look. I wasn't expecting this. I can bring my queen out here to a more or less comfortable spot, and it tempos the bishop. I just can't resist, and I'm not gonna waste time debating it. One thing I've learned in the last year with taking lessons from coaches is don't try to be a perfectionist unless you're calculating a long sequence of moves that's forced. Just play what you know is right or what your intuition says. Yeah, knight d3 is good. I could play knight e4 in return. That's logical and opens my bishop up. Yeah, so what could he do? I also have knight c4 runs into. No, knight c4 does not run into this move because his knight's hanging at the time. But I think his knight wants to come in here. That's okay, I could trade. Let's see, pawn takes. Knight attacks bishop. No, he can't do that because his bishop would be hanging. Knight c4, he pushes here. I tempo the rook. I think knight c4 looks promising. I'm going to go for knight c4. Just for fun, let's see what my record is against EIE. I'm going to go open a new window. Not that. Open a new window. Leechess.org, and I wanted to see what my score is against EIE 24. What is my score against EIE 24? Oh, I beat him in the last 960 game. Oh. I forgot that I won the last one. Oh, and he was rated low. That's what confused me when I saw his 2000 rating. I'm like, whoa, he's stronger now. Okay. So rook e1. That's a good move, of course. Rook on the open file. Very logical. He's literally threatening my pawn, so I could block him with knight e4. And I should not think too long about this. It just seems logical. So my knights have gone to some happy spots. If he plays queen b3, I don't know. I'm not too afraid of it right now. Maybe I could just play queen over here somewhere, or even defend the pawn like this. The b6 is a nice idea. It blocks out his knight. He might play knight here, or he has to be careful about his bishop right now. So I think knight e4. Maybe I have to play rook e8 at some point to defend this pawn. Ooh, that music got loud all of a sudden. The music got loud all of a sudden. Let's put it back a little bit. Depends on the song, I guess. new song. This one's a little bit redundant to me. Let's go to this. Here, I'll copy and paste it for you guys, so you can know what's playing on the music. Okay, Queen E2. Oh, he doesn't opt for Queen to B3. Okay. So G4, I would anticipate at some point. I want to back up in that case to Queen. I just don't want 94 to come with tempo, but it might. I think the most practical move right here is Rook E8, defending against future pressure on this pawn. Kind of just a prophylactic move. I don't think I'm walking into any traps where he takes something. Minutes. My time management, last 5 moves, not ideal, but not as bad as I have been in the past. After this stream, I think I'm going to post this to YouTube. This will be my first YouTube video ever as Chess Coach John. And I'll add YouTube link to my description and my channel. That'll be cool. My next project is to put like some kind of Bitcoin or crypto address so you guys can donate to me via crypto. That'd be exciting. And then I've got to analyze my game with Karpov to help Alexei with an article that she's writing about junior players playing Anatoly Karpov. I think Madquick, he played Karpov and drew him. He might be part of that article. He should be part of that article. So let's see. Yeah, I think for the YouTube clip, for YouTube, I think I'm just going to edit out the parts where I'm just bobbing my head listening to music, and let's see if what I can do. I'm excited to post a YouTube video. Turn like an hour-and-a-half boring video to an interesting 20-minute video maybe. So that'll be fun. I'll definitely give you guys my YouTube channel link and stuff. So right now he's thinking for a long time. He's actually unsure of his plan. If he plays b3, he's in a pickle. Knight takes c3. He might be worried about my knights at this point, I would think. You do. Yeah, I'm ahead of my opponent, so I'm actually pleased with my time management. It is funny looking in position, right? You have these two knights opposed to these two knights. It's like they're having some kind of back and forth conversation. He goes knight d2. So yeah, I thought he might try to initiate some trades. That makes total sense because my knights are kind of scary actually. So is there any combo loco, like HEP combo loco? Is there any combo loco, any crazy combo here where I could just do this or this? I have like lots of captures, that's why I'm thinking about this. Which knight do I like best right now? If I take with this one, it leaves this knight. If I take with this one, it leaves this knight. Which knight do I like best? I don't even know which knight I want to have around. Because if I take with this knight, he takes the bishop, he'll kick my knight away, but then I can play knight g3 anyway. I kind of like the central knight the best. But if I take here, it takes bishop. I do I have to, I don't even have to, well, he's threatening to win a pawn, so I have to defend or take it, so I can't waste too much time here. But I do know that if takes, queen takes, queen takes, there's nothing for me. I lose a pawn. So here's like the critical point, kind of a critical point. It's okay that I'm thinking slightly longer at this point. If I do keep my knight in c4, that looks pretty awesome. And he'll counter with knight e5 eventually. That's the safest, okay? This one's the most aggressive. Bishop takes, having a knight on e4, it's more aggressive. And that's definitely the more aggressive choice. Actually, but having the knight in c4 might help me play the e5 break. I'm gonna go with my intuition here. I can't think too much longer because of the time control. You have to manage your time so you have time left to think of the end game. Okay, so I don't want to take here yet because his bishop's on the same color as his pawns. Knight here doesn't bother me. Knight here bothers me a little bit. If I play f6 and he trades queens, and then I'm actually going to win the game because his bishop's hanging. So f6, he could chase this away. I could take e and play e5. Kind of ambitious. I want to do something. I want to play f6 e5 here, but it might be too ambitious. But it's something I really want to do. f6, he could just play bishop back and say, "Oh yeah, I don't think so, buddy." But then I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dudes supporting this pawn move. Takes, pawn takes, knight takes, bishop takes, bishop takes, knight takes. Yeah, I have enough. But if he plays f4, then it might weaken his e4 square. Interesting. I'm gonna go for the gold. I might regret this, but my instinct says I could try to go for advantage with this e5 break. I might be completely wrong, but I don't want to lose too much time. He does have the knight double attack. Well, he's threatening knight e6 outpost, and he's threatening my pawn. But he's not really threatening my pawn, because I could play... Well, I could play like rook over and then take this pawn maybe. Gee, this is a... And if knight c5, I almost want to play queen c2 there. This is getting complicated. He has queen checks. I think I have a little fortress though. It's kind of hard for him to attack me. And some pieces have been traded off the board, so his kingside attacking chances are a little bit diminished. This is complicated. Yeah, knight c5 worries me, but let's see what happens. He's also kind of low on time, so moves like this have to scare him too. Like, he might not want to take a risk with his time pressure as well. So we'll see what he does. If he thought this was a good move, he should have played it right away to give him more time to think. Is my judgment. So time management's a huge part of chess, actually. I'm starting to learn that. I've learned that the hard way several times. Well, I've got to keep looking at it because it's the move that worries me. I guess knight f4. No, that doesn't bother me because I have e5. Okay, so knight c5. What if I do chase his knight right into the pocket? Is that the end of the world? It's the end of my plan. If I take. Well, I could still try to just dislodge the knight with rook c. He plays this way, okay. Yeah, and I was just looking at that move. So the same idea, but the point is if I play e5, he simply grabs the pawn. And if I take, he could get 2 rooks for the queen. However, at the end of the day, actually, if I push and he takes and I take, he plays knight e7 check. Knight e7 check takes, queen takes. And then I take his bishop at the end. Interesting. Okay. This is what my coach said to try to blindfold calculate when it goes too deep like this. So I'm going to try to do this in my head. Kind of look away from the chessboard. e5. If I play e5. Knight takes e5. Oh, then my knight's hanging right away. That's just bad because my knight's hanging. So so I've got to resign myself to this. Is not working. Yeah, f6 was a little risky for me. I did see that hole was formed. Let's see if it comes back to severely haunt me. I have this right away, but I want to play rook here to just try to dislodge the knight eventually, and I can't think too much longer. I don't see a blunder, how this is a blunder actually, so I'm gonna go for this move. I am disappointed how strong this move is, and knight c5 might have been strong too, but we'll see what happens. This is now it's the position is getting really interesting. You know what I missed just now? I realized I can't do it after knight e6. I can't do it anymore, but I could have taken and then played bishop h6 with a nasty pin. That would have ooh, that was a nice opportunity, guys. If I play bishop takes, queen takes, bishop h6, then he has to play g3, and I could do some damage to his pawn structure in the endgame. That would have been really nice. I missed the great opportunity, but oh well, such things must happen in chess. And I suppose his bishop will want to go to c8 after I play this queen. Is my queen in danger of being trapped? That's another good question. And how strong is this move? Another good question. Okay, lots of interesting questions. I know that if he moves his bishop, he can move bishop f4 there. Oh, that's where he wants to go next, no matter what, I guess. The question would be, after bishop f4, would trading queens be a good thing or a bad thing? It helps him double rooks, actually. And his bishop's in a nice location. Not looking fantastic. Bishop f4 is extremely good there. And not hard for him to see. I have to keep that in mind. It would be easy for him to find that move. So here, bishop f4, once again. Maybe I could play g5, bishop goes back. Oh, my king can participate in removing his knight too. Interesting. Yeah, I've got to try rook c6. And if knight takes, I play take with the king. I see KB Khan lurking there in the background. Nice to see you, KB Khan. Shout out to KB Khan and Mad Quid Chess. So it's very forcing. I could play here. Oh, I could play queen here too. Queen here, f3. Queen here actually threatens his knight. That's kind of curious. Takes. His knight's under attack. It's like a double attack if he trades queens, actually. If he trades queens, attacking his knight and his bishop. And I would be threatening to take his knight. So he would probably take my bishop. I would take his queen. So that's fine. Let's try that. Let's try that. Oh, he immediately saw knight c5. That's what his plan was. Okay. Okay, no big deal. But should I play queen c2 is an interesting question. Queen c2, he moves the bishop to this good square. Then I trade queens. I don't want to put his bishop on a good square. That'd be silly. So let's play queen takes queen. And what in the universe is going on here? If I play here, it prompts his knight back here. I would take here, threatening the rook takes. It would be a blunder to put his knight back where it came from. So let's welcome him into the square, because I think I just take here and here. If he takes here, I just take a free knight. So his knight has to go back to d3 here. And then I get to play my e5 move, but is it that good? e5, e4, let's see what happens. By the way, if you're just tuning into the stream, I'm going to be putting my first YouTube video up. Probably this will be the first video I put up on YouTube. This one I'm streaming right now. I'm going to, as soon as I find out, I'm going to put that in my channel description. Okay, he has to play knight. Yeah, he had to play there. Now knight b4 is like an annoying move because it does attack these two pieces. So maybe I'll. But I think if I play e5, he plays knight b4. I can just go rook d6. And I can chase the knight away later. Yeah. Let's go for the e5 move. So yeah, welcome to the stream, all you other viewers. I'm excited to announce my YouTube content. I don't have the link to my YouTube yet, but you can find me on Discord at least, and I'll post some announcements there. That might not be the right Discord link, sorry. Let me find the right one. Discord invite. Discord invite. I think this will be the right one. Okay, back to my game. So he plays this move, and I have lots of defenders of this pawn. 1, 2, 3, 4. He has 1, 2, 3 attackers. Could become an issue later. He has moves like this and this because my rook's pinned. So I can never take it right now. I could take here, takes, and then bishop to attack the rook. Doesn't do much. Okay, gotta move faster. I can move my rook with the intention of pushing to e5. That's probably the best plan. Maybe rook to d8 to defend against this knight threat. Rook to d8, pawn takes. Knight takes, rook takes. You'd have to sacrifice the exchange. He does have 1, 2, 3, 4 attackers, but if I play rook to e8, one of his attackers is a rook, so mine's a bishop defender, so I should be fine. I'm not gonna hesitate, and then I'm gonna go for the e5 push. E4 push. He might play f3 to slow down, but he's also in time pressure. So it's going to come down to time pressure ability here. I want to... I don't know what I want to do. E4, F5. I have to be careful about this F4 square. E4, I'm threatening to take the pawn next after the knight moves. This is an interesting part of the game. Okay, good move. Getting it out of the way. Push is natural. Knight F4 might be the logical move. Knight B4 is also possible. I want to play F5 and gain even more strength in my center. Okay. Rook E6, F3, F5. This all feels good to me. Oh, he has B3, Knight D6 would be fine. No, it would not, because he plays knight takes E4. So I've got to have a retreat square for my knight actually. That would be Knight D6 would never be good. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble because if he pushes my... I'm starting to realize I could be in trouble. But no panicking. If I play rook back, he plays here. I play counter punch here. He takes here, I take here. Oh man, this is not going good. I overlooked the fact that after B6 my knight has to go. Well, I guess I have the emergency evacuation of knight A5. Not ideal, but I could play here, B3, knight A5. His knight's also in a weird spot too. That's my consolation, I guess. But okay. Where should I move my rook is the question. Maybe control the second ring. Take 6. I'm gonna try to get some second rank control. I'm trying to guard my second rank, I mean. If he plays this, I do have the escape square knight A5. Not ideal. His knight's also not ideal. I don't think this would work if he plays B3. Oh, he didn't play. I get to chase his knight away. Okay, that's good. That's good. Now my knight has the escape D6. So he missed the opportunity to play B3, I think. But okay, so that's good. Here comes F5. Logical plan. But it does weaken my diagonal. See how it goes. If he plays bishop F4, don't know, maybe rook F7. Knight there, okay. Okay. If I play F4, I think this wins, guys. Look, F4, he takes, and then I go check, and then he moves his knight, and I take his rook, and then I'm up the exchange. So let's go for this tactic. F4, F3 check coming. Time pressure, yeah. It's really hard. So it looks like I'm getting lucky. All these puzzle rush tactics are helping. Check. I think so anyway. These puzzle rush tactics are helping. He does have this pawn at the end, but I could play rook over and probably take... No, I can't take a pawn back, but... He still has 2 pawns for the exchange, I guess. So it's... I'm not out of the woods at all. In fact, it's tempting to just take back here and force his rook to go to a weird square. Let's evaluate. Let's try to evaluate it. If I take this pawn, he takes my pawn. It's interesting that bishop takes pawn tactics almost work. Okay, I have to think a little bit. If I take his rook, he takes my pawn. I take his pawn, he takes back. Ooh, this is getting really intense. If I just take the knight calmly, I might have just a winning plan with minority attack. And I'm in time pressure, and I'm not sure. It's very unclear to me if I can win by just winning the exchange. Because he gets 2 pawns for the exchange. Oh, it's a tough decision. I need to use all my time in the critical moment. I'm going to try to see blindfolded in my head. See, pawn takes, knight takes, because it's a long sequence. Knight takes, knight takes, bishop takes pawn. Wait a second. Oh no, I can't sacrifice that. Rook b8, knight a4. Oh, it's not so clear. I'm gonna go for the practical move. And I'm gonna try to win with my amazing pawn chain and play the minority attack. I think I calculate correctly that we still both have 7 pawns. Yeah, we both have 7 pawns, and my position's better. That was an advantageous push sequence. It was just too unclear to take the rook here because he gets this pawn back and he gets this pawn too, and he might get knight c5 outpost. It was probably very nice, but I didn't have the ability to calculate that. Now immediately it looks like he's blundering the pawn with bishop takes pawn because or he had to do that basically because otherwise rook here is horrible. So maybe he had to walk into this. Bishop takes pawn, not without thinking too much because it looks like an obvious tactic to me. If takes, this is hanging. If push, I can take this pawn here. It's really an interesting moment here. Spent a lot of time not taking that piece. I think that might have been correct, but we'll have to see after the game. I'm excited to analyze this game with my opponent. To-do list stuff over here. So like rook over here, I might just move my bishop back to e5 or something. And if he plays bishop rook here to go for my pawn, maybe I could play here, rook takes, trade rooks, and then play bishop takes pawn. And that would win a piece if you did that, so bishop here might be good. And then I could march if I can get my king up to e6, it's all golden. If I could do this maneuver, that would be really good. Oh, did not see that move. Probably guard the second rank. That was a very good move. Because he could play rook here next, and then he'll put his other rook over. Or if I play here, he moves rook over. I could maybe have time to get my king here. Oh, that's really interesting actually. Rook here. Rook here. If you take this pin is gonna annoy him, and I can get my king here in time maybe. I'm gonna go for it. 59 seconds. I still have a couple seconds to think about this. So rook over. If I play rook over, he plays rook over. I play rook over. He plays rook d1, rook c1. Yeah, I just have barely enough time. Maybe we'll see. 1 minute left. I had to make a move there. This is getting really intense. Maybe put some intense music on. Oh, rook there. I did not see that one at all. I just saw other rooks over. So I blundered, let him have the pawn back. Oh boy, okay. Oh, I just blundered. I should have played rook d7. Okay. Keep the pressure on the diagonal. Push takes. Bishop here looks good. Time to activate the king and then rook d7 check though. I'm not happy at all. Not happy at all. These things happen. I thought I managed my time pretty well too, overall. We'll look for spots I could have managed it better though. Maybe not 100% losing either. Going for this minority attack still. Rook to the 7th and doubling rooks seems like a logical plan. But I'm trying to get counterplay with the pawn b4 push. Bishop f6, I would try to tempo the bishop with this move and then play king e6. So I think doubling rooks is good, but I have this counter attack, so maybe pawn push takes and the rook here is good for him. But then this is not necessarily as bad as I thought it was for me. But I'm not happy that I didn't calculate correctly. Okay, different music. Bishop there, okay. Bishop there. He was afraid of my diagonal, understandable. So push, takes. Okay. No time to think. He'll probably trade with this. His rook's really passive, so he'll probably play rook takes first. But maybe not. And rook and pawn endgames, another area of my game that I haven't worked on thoroughly yet. And I'm excited to start working on it. So maybe I could play a decent rook and pawn endgame, go for a draw or something. A wild back and forth game. I think it should be a draw, maybe. That's my guess. But I think he doesn't want to play pawn takes pawn because he realizes I have like rook. Oh, he does play pawn takes pawn. And okay, he's gonna. Okay, this is interesting. I don't want to trade here because he takes this pawn. I have other devious ideas. If he does. Yeah, here and then check and then here and then king here and then check and then here and then king takes pawn and then rook takes pawn. Let's try this. Dun, dun, dun. Maybe king here is correct. Although I could try this. Takes, and this is hanging. And then I could go for this pawn. Looks like it's going to be 3 against my 2. That's my prediction. If I'm lucky. Going for that one. Check. Now, here, king here. Rook here? Rook here? Does that do anything? If I play rook here, if I play rook here and he goes king here and I play rook here. Ooh, fun calculator. Rook here. If he takes, I get a queen. Rook here. Threatening what though? Is it threatening this? And then here, That's so interesting. I'm gonna have to try it. I'm a double attack. I could have played rook over here and then rook check, and then rook here, king here, rook takes pawn, rook takes. That looked too simple for him. Ooh, I could play rook here. The idea is I have a skewer defense. I think he still might play king f4 anyway. Getting crazy. Mega Gamer, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. This game's really intense, as you can see. I think if he takes, I just take here. King f4 is a strong move. I think my opponent is strong enough to find it. Now I'm gonna try to. Now it looks like it's gonna be these two against these two, and he's gonna have an extra pawn, which is very bad for me actually. King f4 is so strong. Because if I take here, takes king takes. He's check. Oh, it's check though. Takes. I can hit both pawns again, and then take that pawn. Huh. Wait, here takes. He can't play pawn takes because it's queen, so here takes, king takes, check, king takes. I can go for that pawn. Yeah, maybe it should be. I can get the 3 versus 2 and try to hold the draw. The stream started about an hour, a little bit over an hour ago, an hour and 8 minutes ago. I had a win in this game. I just know it, but I didn't proceed properly. Now, if I take here, he'll take this. This looks like, for some reason, this looks better. Takes. Takes. He takes. I don't know which one looks better. I don't know which one's better. 20-second increments. I need to start learning how to draw these games. Oh, draw pictures. Okay, cool. Are you gonna draw a picture of me? Trade. I have to trade, I guess. Takes. Oh, he has this pass pawn. I did not do this correctly. Can I play here? Rook here. Not much time to think about it. Here. Thank you for the follow, Warwick 150. I'm gonna go for this for some reason. My intuition is not strong enough to play good moves fast enough in the rook opponent game. Oh, I just completely threw away that one. That was just a complete blunder. Yeah, now it's just lost. With this only extra pawn, I had a chance to draw, but now it's 2 extra pawns, which is very, very sad and unfortunate. His king's in the center, my king's stuck over here. What did I do? I could have just taken the pawn. That was logical. I just didn't want to be down a pawn there. And even here, I had a moment where I could have taken I should have taken this pawn first. And then I can come over and take this pawn. The move, I just got everything wrong here in the endgame. The time pressure really messed me up. It's just my strength in the endgame is so weak that I need more time to think about it. He's gonna go ahead and just, he feels confident he'll win this way. It's probably true. King here to build the bridge. Or that. Yeah, I'm probably just losing here anyway. My king's cut off too far. I'm gonna resign this one. So, very fun game. I can't wait to invite Rapider. Thank you for stopping by to say hi, man. Thank you. I lost this game, heartbreaker. I'll be taking challenges after I analyze this game with EIE. And speaking of which, let me get EIE. Did you want to join the? Let's see. Want to join the Discord or Twitch chat or even Zoom? Install. Yeah, it's going pretty good. I lost this game. I was disappointed with how it just fell apart so rapidly. But yeah, let me invite EIE to my Discord chat. And please let me talk to him. Let me give him my invite to Discord. I lost this heartbreaker of a game. But EIE. And I'll wait for EIE to join the Twitch chat. And this is great. I'm glad. I'm thanking him for coming on to analyze the game. This is awesome. So I'm gonna take the move suggestion thing off because that's not necessary anymore. And my opponent's gonna go on Discord. Let me make sure that, yes, okay. Okay. So I'm gonna start starting the voice chat. Let me start my voice chat. And let's see. Here we go. Chess Coach John. And let's get him in here. What a game, what a game. Where is voice chat connected? Let me ask him if he's in my voice channel yet. You in my voice channel? Oh, there he is.
Hello.
Hello, welcome again. And what was your name again? I need to get your name down so I don't.
EIE 20. My name.
Yeah.
My actual name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say again. Sorry.
Eike.
Eike. How do you spell it?
Yeah. It's EIE. Oh, sorry. EIKE. So.
Oh, Eike. Eike.
Yeah.
Eike or Eike?
Eike.
Eike. Oh, cool. Okay. And mine's John.
Yeah.
Of course. Nice. So nice that game. I thought I played a beautiful game, but I think the time pressure. Well, I could blame the time pressure, but the truth is my time management is getting better, but it wasn't perfect that game. and either of us felt like either of us could have blundered that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you outplayed me in the middle game, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can have a look at it.
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to start a study or something?
Yeah, I'm gonna start a study on Lichess. Yeah, there we go. Okay, 1 second. Let me do that. Excuse me. Click on my name, and gonna put this in in a study. We'll put it in. I have this like stream analysis study. Let's see. Okay. Here is the study, and I think you're already a member of this study, but let me invite you. Let me see if you're a member.
Yeah.
And I need to invite you again, probably, just to make it easier. Oh yeah, you're already a member, but I'll kick you out and re-invite you to make it easier. That way the notification will pop up, you know?
Yeah.
So I kicked you out, and then I re-invited you. Well, not yet. 1 second. EIE24.
Yes.
And now you're a contributor, or not yet. I invited you. Now you're a contributor. There you are. And
okay.
And yeah. So it was interesting. It was very much like a chess game here. This position. So yeah.
Yeah, actually it was quite interesting, even in the opening, because you got to think about how this minor change of the rook and knight swapping places kind of affects the opening theory. So
yeah, this subtle difference affected a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you played e4 and I played the Caro-Kann, but it wasn't a Caro-Kann. It was completely different.
Yeah, but I think c6 is a decent response to e4 in this position, at least against me, because after d4, d5, I usually go for f3 here, but it's just pointless with the knight on a1, because in many lines you want to play knight c3 there if you play f3. So takes, and then
e5.
Yeah, e5 as a move.
The knight's actually looking nice on the knight's gonna come to b6 or something. It looks pretty decent there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like this. This is much better it's a better version for white if the rook and knight are in the correct places, so I didn't go for that. So, and also it takes a lot of other options away from white in the Caro-Kann if the knight is on a1.
Yeah.
Yeah, knight c3 or knight d2 are obviously main moves.
Yeah, they're not here anymore. So you played a very logical continuation. You traded on d5 here.
Yeah. I mean, the other option was to go e5. I'm not sure about that one either, but it might be slightly better than this, because I feel like it should at least help black that the rook is on b8 in this kind of structure, because at some point, the minority attack is a major plan for black here, and the rook should help in that.
Oh, it's like a perfect spot for the rook in case of the minority attack. Yeah, I thought that maybe e5. I didn't think about that move really, but it looks like your knight has a natural way to prevent the c5 break as well.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, I guess e5 is a better way to respond.
I think it would.
Better response here for white.
I think it would be, yeah.
E takes.
But it still turned out really well for you. I didn't see that you had bishop f4 coming to tempo my rook. That felt really good for you, I thought.
Yeah.
Maybe to deal with that, I should have moved my bishop early somehow. But to be truthful, and I looked at this move and the check to take your pawn, and I realized it was not so successful in most lines. I think one line is just that I can't go back, and I can go back here, and then If you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, you could just grab my pawn back.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked at this too. That wasn't something I was afraid of.
Yeah, I didn't think you would be afraid of it. I really want to get my bishop out. So you exacted revenge from our last game. So congratulations, congratulations.
Thanks.
And wow, I haven't studied the rook and pawn endgame. I must say, I'm especially excited because I've had 2 longer time control games where my intuition in the rook and pawn endgame wasn't strong and enough and fast enough. And I think there might have been a line that was drawish that I completely missed. There should have been, but
yeah.
But we'll yeah.
Pawn ending was very good for me, but yeah, we'll have a look at this later, of course. So.
Have you read in-game books have you studied the rook and pawn in-game?
Rook and pawn, not really. I mean, I've got Dvoretsky's endgame manual here, but it's kind of tough to read, so
that's a long
I'm
one.
kind of stuck.
That's a long one.
Yeah.
I'm reading one that's a little bit easier to read. It's called 888 Theoretical Positions by Yuri by Edward Pronstatter and Yuri Balashov. It's 888 positions. I'm on like almost 300 out of 888. So
that's not bad.
Yeah, and we're getting to the rook and pawn, which is going to be hard. But
yeah, rook and pawn.
I would say I could have done well, but I was obsessed with it at the time. I could have skipped the 2 knights versus king and pawn because that was just too hard. Like the 50 move sequences to maneuver the king and avoid stalemate.
Yeah, those are hard. Yeah.
I don't know what to do. Maybe queen c7 is a thing to do. Not sure.
Yeah, queen c7 is very reasonable.
And if you play g3, I could just counter with e6, bishop d6. And my argument is that your pawn structure is a little bit awkward, maybe. So maybe to avoid bishop f4, I could have done that.
Yeah.
You got your bishop f4 move in.
Yeah, I think knight b6 was a mistake, honestly, because
I
didn't play bishop f4 earlier because you could always meet it with knight c7, and I wasn't too sure how good this really is for white then.
Oh, okay. And the thing is that I still have the minority attack in the works. And there's any clear way to put more pressure on my knight.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. Interesting. So yeah, here knight b6, bishop f4. My rook had to go back. I lost a tempo, but I was a little bit happy to see this move. I know it's a strong move, but I was kind of relieved to see it, because
I was kind of worried about knight h5 stuff and. Yeah, thanks.
I think if you go, and maybe you want to prevent bishop g4 later and on.
Yeah, that's also an idea.
I was a little bit worried about knight e5, but I know you don't want to necessarily put the knight there right away because it invites exchanges, but at the same time, well, I don't know. This was interesting to me.
That's interesting, but on the other hand, my other knight is far away from ever reinforcing this knight, so
true. And my knights are already going into position, so
yeah.
Bishop here, bishop f5, a typical idea. It's in the last decade or so, people playing the Karo-Kan, and the exchange variation, they do this kind of maneuver. Ding Liren from China did this kind of maneuver. The pawns are doubled, but you get really strong center control, and maybe a g5.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, 1 second. I'm gonna pause my stream really quick. Okay, 1 second. It might have been an accidental call. Let me just take the call on my stream. Let me call the lady back. It had to do with like processing one of my payments because I'm a chess coach for a living.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me see if I can get a hold of her.
Okay.
Oh, sorry about the interruption.
No problem.
see, maybe I can. Bindu. Let me try again. Okay. But yeah, we can keep talking about the game until if she answers. I think it might have been an accident.
Sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that has.
It might have been an accidental call.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so bishop f5. Yeah, I even thought that you might want to play g4 here.
Yeah, g4 might. Yeah, I wasn't really too aware of this bishop f5 idea, but yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
The question is whether I'm weakening myself too much to some eventual h5, although I always have g5, of course. So.
Yeah, I thought my intuition was that you're not weakening yourself that much, and you could even consider castling queenside. And going for an attacking to my king, but it's a whole different game here. Hey,
yeah, that's sure.
Hey, Master John, we're with Ika from Germany, I suppose, or is it Germany?
Yeah, Germany.
Mm-hmm. And we're with Ika, and he trounced me this game, and we're looking at this game, which I thought got really fun and interesting in just a moment. Let's get to the interesting part, shall we? Let's see.
Okay.
And so knight e1, queen g7. Yeah, I was really actually worried about. I thought the idea of your knight e1 was to play queen b3 and keep this pressure on the queen side, and so I got really worried. I was actually, after knight e5, I was gonna play queen here, and I thought, well, gosh, you get all these tempo, but then I thought about this position, and I thought, you know, I'm not doing so bad here. I didn't even notice your rook hanging for one thing.
Yeah.
But let's say in this position, let's say if you trade off here in this position, I thought, okay, he has a slightly better endgame, but I think I can hang on here. This is what I was thinking. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought I could hang on here. I thought you wouldn't be too happy to try. I think you wanted to win. And this was not like conducive. This is not trying to win here.
Well, I think.
Or will you be?
I think White can play for a win, certainly in this position. But,
White can play for a win, yeah. So maybe you would have done better to. Well, the 95 might have been a better idea.
Yeah, I agree. This bishop takes was weird. I mean, if I want to take, I should take right away. But
yeah, that made me happy to see this. You did get some strong knights in the center, but now my knights are also strong. So
yeah, I kind of underestimated how good your knights were there. Because here, I'm no longer that happy with my position because.
Yeah, and my knights got there first, so it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I played here as a preventative. I thought it was a decent idea. Later, you can play.
Yeah, that was a decent idea.
92. So, go ahead.
Yeah, I was trying to make a point here. I took quite a long time for this move, I think, because I was quite afraid. I was trying to calculate what happens after this.
Oh, I didn't even look at that move here. What an interesting.
I was actually intending g4 here, but wasn't 100% sure it works. But yeah.
What a crazy position.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I mean, wow. I would play queen back, maybe something like that.
Yeah, queen there, but there I was kind of counting. Wait.
It's hard, I know.
Well, I can recall what has to be precise what piece he takes here, because there are a lot of options, of course, but yeah. Wait a second. Yeah, I think I can do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now if this, at least I do have a tempo.
Knight takes
Yeah.
takes, yeah. And you should be okay here.
Yeah, here I'm okay. Yeah.
And
Take,
then
get the tempo in, and
yeah, something like this maybe. And
yeah, but white should be okay, I think.
but white should be okay. Yeah. I totally didn't see that.
I was actually thinking queen c8 was more critical because you're not allowing the tempo on the queen.
Oh, earlier. I mean, in that sequence.
In that sequence, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and here I wasn't really sure what to do, but it's crazy.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, you take, for example. Wow, yeah, this is.
Yeah, I could take, but then don't I allow knight takes knight there? Or at least I was thinking stuff like this.
Maybe this or something. Yeah, it is really interesting position.
Yeah.
So I played knight takes, and I played f6. Was it bad or good? It was risky, and I wanted to play for a win. I knew about the square.
f6 idea is good because
yeah,
I actually kind of underestimated it because I was so worried about e5 because
yeah, and you were worried enough to play knight f4. Knight c5 was another interesting way to do it, I guess.
Knight c5 was also interesting, but
yeah.
Then what's exactly the point after e5?
Oh, after e5, if you take
Okay, that's interesting.
And I thought you might be worried about this line. Your bishop, funny enough, doesn't have any decent squares to go to.
Yeah.
And if you play bishop here, and I could, well, my bishop's also a little funny. I could think about bishop f8 maybe, and it's a weird position. Yeah, it's very weird. So you played the more logical knight f4, and I decided to get my rook in here to drive off your knight and king f7 and stuff like that.
Yeah, makes sense. I actually wasn't sure about knight e6 here, but I don't see anything. I didn't really see any alternatives either. So.
Yeah, I was starting to get my e5 move in, so I also I knew that if you played queen e6, you're just dead because I take your bishop at the end.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so you go here, and I thought I was gonna play queen c2, but I started liking this move instead.
Yeah, I was actually thinking. Wait a second. Yeah, I played. Wait a second. Here was for a second. Yeah, here I thought you'd go queen c2 here.
Oh, I didn't. This was the position. Oh, this is a very issue. Oh, this is I took your queen instead. Okay.
Yeah.
Queen c2 here. Yeah.
And also another thing I wanted to mention here. This pin might have been awkward. I don't know.
Oh well, I actually missed this pin. Like there was like 3 moves later. I regretted. I just saw it at the last second. That's what these like 20-minute time controls. You miss a lot of things that you might see in like 30 minutes or 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So it makes it more interesting and exciting actually. The time pressure and stuff. I think here, you would have to play something very awkward like this, and then your pawn structure is getting ruined. Or if I do this and take your pawn.
Yeah, that's not good for white.
But it maybe not too terrible at the same time, because you're threatening all this counterplay.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's still somehow playable.
I would want to in this position. I would want to just trade queens and try to go for the end game, maybe. But I don't. I think you should be drawish anyway here, because I don't see any way to get at your weak pawn.
Yeah, as long as I can prevent e5 without any issues, it should be a draw.
Yeah.
But,
so that was interesting.
yeah.
I did see it. I regretted not playing it, and I played this. You did this. I took. I should. Oh yeah, queen here would have given you some headaches, huh? Oh no. The reason I rejected it was because of bishop f4. I thought that you got your bishop on a nice area, but then I guess after the queen trade.
Yeah, almost you're getting
e5 and eventually with tempo. Now you can take the pawn here, but maybe I would. Oh, I can't chase your knight back into this square. I mean, I can, but then your rook's double. I saw this line where your rook's doubled. So I thought I thought I might lose this pawn or something. Oh, but if I.
But how do you really about this?
But I have this move.
Yeah, that's
a double.
Smart.
It's a double attack. Yeah.
Yeah, that's no way forward to keep material here.
So I underestimated how powerful e5 is here.
Yeah.
So yeah, in hindsight, that was nice as well. So I took your queen right away and played b6. Yeah, I knew I was hoping. Please play here. Please play here. I played b6 really fast, just hoping for. But of course, you played the best move. I played e5. That was good. That was good. Rook d8. Bishop back. Okay, all good. e4. I underestimated knight b4 maybe. I thought you would take the opportunity to play b3 here actually, because I thought.
Wait.
Oh, but then my knight's awkward, but the pawns, but your c3 pawns.
Yeah, didn't like the weakening of c3.
But you can immediately play c4. I noticed.
Can I do that?
I don't know. I don't know actually, but I don't know if you could do this, but it seemed like really interesting, you know, of this kind of thing.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to see this far, obviously. And the idea is your rook might get to the 7th rank or something.
Yeah, but something like this. I'm not too sure about this because.
I could play bishop f8. I could. Oh wait, there's this. Oh no, sorry. If I take here, you'd probably have to take back immediately, because if you take here, I have knight c6. You have knight c6.
Yeah, but I don't see how takes is that bad. Yeah, for that, I mean.
Oh, good point. Yeah, if you could trade swap. Oh, there's the knight's still here. The knight's still here. Yeah. How could this be too bad for especially
your pawn still and b3 is weak and yeah.
Yeah, this is actually not too bad for black at all, is it? So
yeah.
So okay, you made the right decision. King g2, a4, and then f5, and then here this has to be a blunder to allow this, huh?
Yeah, I actually blundered this, but
time pressure blunder.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't. I mean, practically speaking, might not actually be that bad to blunder that.
I know. I played f3 and I really badly wanted to take here, but I thought that your knight would go to a5 to c5. And
yeah, exactly that. And I do have 2 pawns for the exchange here.
Exactly. And so I was a bit worried that white might still be better here, actually.
Yeah, at the very least, it's better, much better than holding this extremely passive position I had before.
Yeah, so. I'm going to turn the computer engine on just to see if it likes my decision to take the knight with the rook. And the computer does like my decision to take your knight better. It says if I take the rook, it says it's about equal.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, so I did the right decision. I spent a lot of time. I spent 2 minutes to make that decision. No, I spent about 2 minutes to make the decision. I don't think that's ridiculous, but that 2 minutes that I spent making this decision came back to haunt me. Now, talking about time management, time management is very important. And if you need the 3 minutes to play the endgame correctly, you should not get down to 1 minute. And I got down.
Indeed, yeah.
So what did I do? I knew that this was probably better a minute and a half before I played this move, actually. So I knew this was
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes a little bit hard of getting away from the thought of winning an exchange.
Yeah, yeah, that haunted me for like a minute and a half, but that minute and a half that I spent ended up really haunting me later.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to calculate everything, but
yeah, here could probably just play rook d2 or rook
Rookie.
e3. I don't like because of this.
Oh, you're trapped. Okay. I didn't have time to look at this. So rook d. You should have played rook d2. You said.
Yeah, rook d2 is, I think, much more reasonable.
Ironically, it would have helped me. Probably just would have won. You know, more without any risk. When I did this, It seemed correct. The computer says it's correct. So okay.
Yeah, it should be correct.
And then you played this, and now I blundered with this. I
expected rook d6. Yeah, honestly.
I was gonna play rook d7. Doesn't matter much which one. Maybe rook d6 is better.
I mean, rook d6. My point was that you could drop back with the bishop to e5 and defend the rook if you take the bishop, but it might not be that relevant because I can never take on e4 anyway because the rook is defending.
Yeah, so if I play here and my bishop drops back to e5 and you play here, I was kind of worried that I can't defend the pawn here. But obviously I could push it for one thing.
Yeah, you can push it.
Push it b3, I could just take it and push it. If I just trade off to the endgame, it should be like a winning endgame for black.
That should be winning. Yeah, for sure.
I could also maybe go here. No, this can't be good for me actually. I mean, no, this can't be good.
This is just even taking that because I take the bishop.
So I missed the d5 to d4 move to help me out here. I missed that move, so that's why I played. Well, my illusion was here. I literally only saw rook d1, rook c1 here. If rook d1, I thought I had time to get my And funny enough, you still had rook d2 at this point. I just never saw this rook coming to d2. I thought I had time to get my king to e6 and just win the game basically, but I never had.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I was actually really surprised by rook c8.
It's because I was down to 30 seconds, and if I was playing blitz chess, I would have immediately played this move. Funny enough, I probably would have won it, and if it was like blitz chess, maybe I should pretend like I'm playing. I should pretend like I'm playing blitz chess. Any tips for overthinking this guy and being too clever and stuff like that? Because I thought I was too clever. Maybe I was too clever. Any advice for not being so clever in chess? Do you have any good tips for that?
That's kind of hard.
That's hard.
I don't know.
That's hard to answer that question. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a personality almost, a personality thing.
Yeah, you could argue that. I think.
Rook over, pawn up. Yeah. Okay. So back to our game. B5. I thought I had to go for this. I thought this was logical to still go for this break. That's my only source of counterplay. I took. Yeah, I thought that was fine. B4 takes. I thought I did the right thing here, and I thought you might not take with the pawn because you're worried about your rook being passive here or something. But definitely, I thought you might have played rook takes here in this position. But actually, you don't want to do this because this pawn's you're gonna have some trouble with my rook maneuver to f1 and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I take here, I wasn't very pleased at all with this position.
No, this is horrible for black. Because f3 is weak.
Yeah, so I have to go for this. Rook here is correct. Rook check has to be good. Now, I got really confused here with my 1 minute left on the clock, and I just got extremely confused. I did play rook d2. That might have been the best move. I looked at rook f1.
Yeah, rook f1, but what is that really doing after king g3?
Yeah, king g3 is what bothered me. And I thought that this would transpose, except I'm not even attacking anything. Gregory James Mack, thank you for telling me to stretch. Okay. So yeah, this is not good for me. So I guess I did the right move with rook d2.
Yeah.
And then I don't know
At
about
least rook e3. At least rook e2 is a practical challenge for me here because
that was a good idea,
I do-
right? Rook e2. Yeah.
I do have to find this king f4 idea now.
Yeah, and I took here, which is incorrect.
Yeah.
I thought a few moves later I was just reminiscing about what I could have done, and I thought maybe here, because I'm going to, even though you have the extra pawn, I do have the extra. Mm-hmm. And I have the. Oh, I don't have the extra f pawn for too long, do I? You just
no. I take, and this is over. I think. Because you can't exchange, the pawn ending is hopeless, and
yeah, and
otherwise
you have me cut off.
Yeah,
you have me cut off here, which is a technically winning game because my king is out of play, and
yeah,
even if now this is interesting. If we took off all my pawns, this would be a draw. Right?
Well,
it should be a draw here.
Wait a second.
Like if these pawns are gone.
Let me calculate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be a draw.
Not here, obviously, but if
yeah, I mean, yeah, but
if the pawns were
yeah,
gone.
okay, without pawns, of course. So.
Yeah, if your pawn was on c2, you would have the reserve tempo.
Yeah, you've got the opposition, and
I know my king and pawn endgames really well, but my rook and pawn endgames not so much. So I wonder if there was any opportunity at all here.
I honestly was very happy with the rook ending from white's perspective, because f3 is just always weak because e4 is falling. So
thanks for the follow, Oot Cookie Crowley. I'll check out Chess of the Rings. Is Chess of the Rings? I wonder if it's his channel. I'll check it out really quickly. Chess of the Rings. It's like Lord of the Rings.
That might be interesting, yeah.
Chess of the Rings. I'll give this guy a follow. Yeah, sure, why not? Okay. But okay, so let's let's go. Chess of the Rings, that sounds pretty fun. But back to our game. Let me just, now that we looked at the game thoroughly, let's see if the computer engine found anything for me to do to save the position.
Yeah, probably you should never go into this again.
Yeah, it says king f7, rook d8. It says everything I did was perfect. Everything I did was perfect. I'm playing very precise here with rook e2. King f4. Oh, I did see something clever. Yeah, I did see rook takes e3. I did see this actually. Rook takes c3 check.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yes, and I thought, yeah, I knew I had this, and I knew that I was gonna get.
Yeah, you get 3 against 2.
3 against 2, and this could be very hard for you to win. I mean, objectively, you might be winning, but it's extremely hard to win, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try, and I mean, with the time control, I think I've got good chances of winning this, but it's obviously not completely lost or something.
Yeah, and if I had more knowledge of rook and pawn endgames, I would have I do know that it's really hard to win 3 against 2. 4 against 3 is easier than 3 against 2. I remember that much.
Yeah.
But I did see this. That's a really sad part, is I saw this move, and I out clevered myself. I played rook. I got really clever and played rook takes, thinking that I was gonna play rook f1 here. Unfortunately, I knew this was losing. I thought rook f1, and all I saw was my pawns coming up the board. Okay, and I saw, okay, this is gonna give him some issue. Even here, yeah, even here. I thought maybe I could get my king in the game. That's my point. Was that
better than the game, but it's still.
Yeah, I thought it's not very promising, but I thought at least my king was closer to making some mischief. So I was like, okay,
but this is clearly much better than 3 against 2 for you. I mean,
yeah, 3 against 2 is much. I mean, you mean where the pawns are close together is much.
I mean, with white, I'd much prefer having that pass pawn and your king kind of cut off than 3 against 2.
This would have been a horrible blunder, obviously. Yeah. And then king takes. Yeah, I saw this clever, what do you call it, skewer thing. I saw this, and I could even play here, but yeah, I'm turning off the engine again. But yeah, I wonder. I need to ask my chess coach about this particular endgame, and I need to study the rook and pawn endgames. Like, bottom line, I need to study the rook and pawn endgames.
Yeah, I think objectively this should be a draw, but it's going to be hard to make with just a few seconds on the clock, of course.
Yeah, and if I have read the rook and pawn endgame books like I'm supposed to, I could do it. I could do it in time pressure with the 30-second increment. But at my current ability, I think you would win in this endgame. With my time pressure.
Yeah, that's quite possible.
Let's see, going back a little bit.
Although I think Black's defensive idea should just be to reach the Philidor and then.
Yeah, exactly. With that the rook on the 3rd rank or 6th rank, and apparently going back to this position, the computer is saying if I did this sequence, and went for a4 with the idea of a3, I guess, and if you play a3, then there's a skewer. There's a skewer that's really hard for me to find.
That would be decent for Black.
Yeah, and then Black can hold, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I knew another funny thing is I knew that this move looked. I knew this move was not logical. This bishop c5 move was not logical, but I wanted you to. I wanted to get some kind of crazy counterplay with my bishop on this diagonal, but you correctly. Well, the computer says you could even play rook e5, but actually, my b4 gets counterplay. The computer says your bishop e3 was the best move, and I just
nice.
And I did not see that. That was so strong for you to do that, and then apparently I did everything perfectly. I even found the rook e2 idea, but I did not follow through with rook takes e3, which would have given me drawing chances. But the bishop c5 idea was, I knew it was very clumsy, aggressive but clumsy because it blocks my rooks for a while, and so just being more objective. If your bishop was on a different square than g5, I wonder if I could still like hold this position. It might be harder because you can keep 2 rooks on the board. But at the same time, I might be able to get an escape square for my king. I might be able to play rook to c5 to exchange rooks, followed by rook to b5, keeping your rooks relatively passive. So I should still have strong chances to hold. My bishop on g7 is good for preventing you from checking me on g7, h7, and on this. Even if you get 2 rooks on the 7th, the g7 bishop is useful on this diagonal.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So yeah, that was very instructive, and I'm definitely going to study the 3 against 2 endgame with my chess coach, and see if I can.
Yeah.
And maybe that inspires me to actually study some endgame today. I'm gonna study some endgames. So.
Yeah, it's for sure some well spent time.
Wow. What about? I mean, this position. If I had played, just rook d7, it would have been a relatively. The computer says I'm up by 2 points, 2.5 points or something. It would have been a relatively simple way. If I would have found the idea of bishop back and pawn d4, that would have been a relatively simple conversion. Even if you're terrible at the endgame, I think most people can convert that endgame.
Yeah, that should be. Yeah.
Most people know to get the king in the center and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
I think even a weak player in the endgame. But my coach told me rook and pawn endgames are the hardest endgames in chess.
Yeah, they are. I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you could argue that queen endgames are sometimes even harder.
Right, and I guess people don't mention the queen endgames because they just happen so rarely compared to the rook and pawn endgames. But there's a case for the queen. The queen
obviously extremely common, but
yeah.
But
yeah, there's a definite argument that the queen endgames are more complicated, and the 2 knights. When the opponent has an extra pawn, you have the 2 knights of a different color. And those are obviously more complicated as well.
Yeah. I mean, that is at least a very finite number of positions, but rook endgames are just like... There are so many positions you can reach in a rook ending, that's what I'm trying to say, so...
Yeah, so many, like, Philidor, Lucena positions, but so many like tabias or so many like positions where you have to maneuver into. There's different phases you have to go through You can't just win in one phase. You have to know like 3 or 4 phases in a row to win just one extra pawn in game.
Yeah.
And there's all these like tricky skewers and pins and king maneuver. It's a really beautiful logic puzzle. But yeah. I'm excited. I just played a game recently where I had a win in the rook and pawn in game, and it turned into a draw. This one was a maybe draw that I turned into a loss. So that will improve me a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that for sure will pay off studying endgames. There's no doubt about that. But yeah.
But I think even the point, I guess one of the points I'm making is, if I had like 5 or 10 minutes left on my clock, I probably would have found that 3 versus 2 line. But there's 2 points. One, I might not have. Still might have not found that line. The other point is, I might not have been able to hold it, even if I did know that the 3 versus 2 on that side of the board was drawish. I still might have failed. And
yeah, possible. Yeah.
But so many reasons that knowing that in game by heart, especially has to do with time management, and also if I had been extremely confident. That the rook takes e3 line we looked at earlier was if I was extremely confident that I saw this, I may have been really I would have been laser focused on this line, and I would not have thought about other lines if I knew this was a draw.
Yeah, for sure. If you know how to draw 3 against 2, you're just gonna go for it, of course.
Yeah, so I didn't even go for it because I wasn't even sure I could draw it, so I didn't even go for it.
Yeah.
So if you know the end games, you don't get distracted by other lines. You'd manage your time better, and just a million different reasons.
Yeah.
Well, Ika, man, it's been a pleasure, and I hope we do this post game analysis again when we play each other in the leagues. You play in all 3 leagues, or do you just play in 2 of them, or?
I play in 2 of them. I play 45, and 960.
I'm about to quit the Lone Wolf because I'm having a hard time scheduling 3 league games in 1 week. It's getting to be quite a challenge for me. I might
understandable.
I might do what you're doing, actually. Is it because that your time limitations on how much time you have as well, or why don't you do the Lone Wolf one?
Yeah, partially that because also I mean, I'm a student. I'm studying physics at the moment.
Yeah.
And I always feel like if I have a game, if I schedule a game on one day, I'm kind of really focused on that game and not really on studying. So
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm a dad with a 6.5-year-old daughter. I do the chores. I cook meals for my family, and it gets hard to play 3 games in a week sometimes.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So you're pretty young then. If you're studying physics, you're probably in your 20s or something.
Yeah, I'm actually 20 exactly.
Wow, very young. I'm glad to see so many young. I'm noticing a lot of. When I was like 15, it took me like 6 years to get to 1800. Now I'm seeing people who are in their 20s watching some YouTube videos, reading some books, and they're playing at 2000, 2100 level. That took me many years to get to. And I think part of it is the information out there is so much stronger or higher level than it was 20 years ago when I started studying.
Yeah, that is a very valid point, I think. Yeah.
And what do you think about the if you find the correct videos to watch? Someone says you have to read books. The YouTube videos are stupid. This is someone from the old generation telling me, you can't really learn from these videos. But I've talked to people that primarily have watched Agaventor or Chess Explained or John Bartholomew or Daniel Naroditsky, and they say they've just watching these videos and almost no studying, and they get to this level that's like close to my level just by doing that. I think Master John from the stream is agreeing that that's a good way to improve your chess. What do you, any thoughts about chess videos, or do you think it should be books? I mean,
yeah, I mean, I think it depends on really your talent in a way, I think.
Yeah.
Because some people really have to learn hard and study hard in order to get better, and then I mean, basically what I'm trying to say is that chess videos, especially those like Agatmato or something like that, that's only going to get you to a certain level, and
Yeah.
after that, not going to see any improvements anymore. And how good that level is probably something that relates to your talent concerning chess.
Got you. So a Gadmentor might get some people to 2,000 and other people only to like 1,500. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Very perceptive. Well, man, I hope to see you again soon, or play you again soon, and the 45, 45.
The chances we are going to see each other in the 960 league are, I guess, quite good.
Quite good, yeah.
Quite high rated, so.
Yeah, that's right. Well, good luck with your studies. How many years left do you have? Like, are you halfway through?
Well, I'm halfway through my bachelor now.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So do you love physics? Do you like it a lot?
Yeah, it's quite nice. I love both physics and mathematics. So yeah.
Very awesome. Well, it's good to be able to find something you love at this age, at such a young age. And I'm happy for you to find something that you love at such a young age.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people drift around until they're 25 or 30. Like I kind of drifted around, and then so that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Sometimes it's hard to get that together with chess because, well, I do a lot of thinking during my days, so it can be exhausting at times. But especially
the physics part can be exhausting, right? Is it, or the math?
Well, physics is it correlates a lot to chess, I think, or at least you have to use your mind in similar ways.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And so both of them are exhausting, and especially if you're doing chess and physics on the same day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm trying to improve my chess during and studying physics at the same time, but it can be quite challenging at times. So yeah.
Well, great. Well, I guess I'll let you go, and I might play some games with the audience if there's anyone watching my stream, and it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, no problem. So,
and have a great rest of. I guess it's almost the evening, almost the nighttime for you right now.
Yeah, it's 7 p.m. at the moment. So
the evening.
Yeah,
evening time.
In the evening. So.
Well, until next time, and
have
a good night.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. That was Aika from the. He just trounced me in this game. I had a winning position at one point, and I missed a chance in the end game, which means I need to study the end game. Now, Master John said something. When I started playing chess in 2015, I watched all of King's Crusher and Meto YouTube videos, thousands of hours. It was all new to me. I stopped playing in 1999. Then I bought 300 books. So, Master John, do you find books or videos better? Which one worked better for you? Oh, sure. I'll play a game with you, Master John. Yeah. We'll play some 960. Ooh, this is an interesting position. So let's get to okay, I'll start with the queen pawn opening. And yeah. What an interesting position here. What should we do? Maybe just G3, pressure on the center. Playing TheMasterJonLcTTV. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna get some snack real quick. cold tater tots and chicken fried steak. Breakfast of champions. Let's see here. F5. Let's go for C4. Queen's Gambit style. Move 6. More pressure on the center. He probably will play pawn here, maybe. It's not. I'm not threatening the pawn though, because of his bishop. My pawn. I'm gonna go defend it. And takes. I still have this move. Maybe I can push later too. Knight into here, possible. Okay, good move. Let's just push this knight back. Guessing here. Okay. I weakened my e4 square, but I also have e5 square. I have more space on the queen side for now. I'm gonna go for this idea. It's interesting. I just realized he might have knight takes c5 threats. So I have to be careful. If I play here, rook here was my idea. But I didn't see that there's a knight takes pawn, which after I really can't take the pawn yet because of the knight takes pawn idea that I missed with this pin over here. What to do about that? Knight back. Okay. If I do this, b6 is annoying. Maybe queen d3. But I'm blocking knight into here, so I'm kind of losing my direction. Knight there. Yeah, I thought he could have played pawn b6 and saved the pawn. Now I need to take it, I think. Maybe black was too eager to get the knight into this square. Not a bad plan, but I was able to get my pawn back at least. See. A3, A6. Oh, stopping queen b5. Got it. It's a good idea. His knight's coming in here. I think my rook is not very happy up there. He doesn't feel very happy. Knight. Oh, knight into this outpost. Good idea, actually. Let's get wild. He goes into the outpost. I push the pawn, sacrificing this pawn potentially, so that I can have my own outpost. The game is heating up. Really interesting game that we're engaged in here. Oh, I guess he wants to castle. Okay, I'll go here. He can pick off the pawn anytime he wants to. I think anyway. Oh, knight b7 prevents him from. No, he can always attack my pawn when he wants to. Maybe queen here, queen here. Okay. Both of our bishops are not very great. I'll go here. Maybe try to play g4 at some point. Okay, that move. He's coming for me. I'll take it. Aha. Can I play this crazy move? 30 seconds left. Okay. Oh wow. Because at the end of it. Okay, let's do it. He has pawn e5 though. After takes, he has pawn e5. Oh. I think he misses this move. Maybe he thought if I play bishop takes, he plays pawn push. I think he missed that idea. Let's get queen into here. Go for this checkmate ideas. And I guess he'll sacrifice the rook to stop the checkmate. Queen takes. I got pretty lucky. Knight e7. Check. 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 And take the pawn. Let's see. Castling seems fun. Oh, I can't castle. Did I already move my... I forgot why I can't castle. Oh, I already moved my rook. That's what it was. Yeah. To be efficient. Okay, rematch. That was a good game. Good game. GG, Mr. Master John. Same position. Let's go for F5 because it's Sicilian style. Yeah, you were totally crushing. Gambit style. Check. Pawn push? I think I'm okay. Okay. I will be greedy and hold on to my pawn. Try to. And diagonal. Open up my diagonal logically. G4, getting the knight to G3 maybe. Outpost central, or city or whatever. And oh, I should get my music back. So you guys, because when I don't say much, it's awkward without music. I think this says just chilling. All kinds of music, perfect for chilling. Let's see. Okay, let's just chill with this music. F4. Opposite 6. That's en passant. This is fun. Bishop takes, rook takes? Bishop takes. I guess he's hitting my pawn. I don't want to spend tempo defending it. Knight here, pawn here, pawn here. Knight here. It's kind of weird. Thinks I should go here. Methinks I should go here, but b3 is pretty good though. Queen there. If I'm greedy, he goes check and crushes me. So probably a6 is wise. He probably will still play here. Maybe castles queenside. That's interesting and aggressive and fun. Which reminds me of a certain person named TheMasterJonLcTTV. Aggressive and fun. Yep, he castle queenside. To be expected from a player as aggressive as my opponent. So queen d6 is interesting. If he takes here, I think I can just take back defending everything. Could be wrong. Just chilling with my homie Master John, LCTTV, playing some 960. Listening to chill beats music. My idea of this move, besides this diagonal, is that b3 this crushes. This is checkmate. So knight c6, castle queenside myself maybe. a3. Can I take here? No, that's crazy, obviously. Oh, he's stopping my knight b4. Well, if he's stopping that, I could play b5, b4 to attack. Or I could just chill and develop my pieces for a while. I think just chill and develop. And maybe b5, b4 later, or maybe castles queenside simply. Oh, okay, bishop f4 coming. I like that a lot. Not for me though. I don't like it for me. So I'm gonna get rid of that menacing bishop. And maybe replace him with another friend. Another knight friend to replace him with. Did I miss this pawn? Nah, that's probably too greedy. I'm gonna take you for a walk later, doggy. You need a walk, don't you? No, Donnie, don't play with that. That's not a toy. That's leftover food. Hey Divikar, welcome back to the chill stream. Playing a good buddy online streamer. Shout out to TheMasterJonLcTTV. TheMasterJonLcTTV. Playing him some 960 games right now. Oops, I got a free pawn. I lost my last game. It was great to learn from. It proves to me again that I need to study the rook and pawn endgame. Very important to study that. Going back here, targeting the pawn, but also preparing to play e5 at some point. So h6, h3. I think it's time to push e5 and try to trade queens, maybe. Try to trade queens. Anybody want to trade queens? You know you want to? Oh, he doesn't want to trade queens. Okay. He knows he doesn't want to trade queens, actually. So I'm going to castle queenside. Okay, Divikar, thanks for checking in again. See you for the chess lesson today. Keep up with your good work at school. Some of my students spend too much time on the chess instead of doing school. I'm glad you're very serious about your school, Divikar. I'm very glad about that. D5. A5 takes. Okay. Do that. Takes. Ah, dog. Crazy dog. Crazy dog. Rawr. Rawr. Rawr, 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 rawr. Oh, wow. If I take the bait, rook takes rook check, followed by queen check. I can block with the queen. Then he plays bishop takes pawn check, and then takes my queen. Whoa, that's a cool combo. I don't want to fall into that. Maybe simply bishop g7 to prevent a queen check. So I'm threatening the pawn again. John says, "Do it." Yeah. I was too scared to do that because I think I would get crushed by you if I did that. Alright, here comes my knight. Queen goes a4. Right here. A little pawn fork. A pawn fork trick. And go this way. How about taking their crazy animal? Okay, check. King f1. I think. Not sure what to do after that. Oh, queen takes pawn, maybe. Knight blocks. Was not expecting knight blocks. I will attack that knight. Not sure. Queen here going for this check. Queen e3 check is coming. Then queen check. And check. And check, and then checkmate. Good game. GG, GG. GG's. Oh. Yeah, looking back on the game, this game you did, the first game I was getting crushed. I want to show everybody the first game. Oh, this dog is playing hard. Yeah, this game, let's look at this game, because you were crushing me here. I thought I was clever, but it wasn't so clever. Knight here was a great move. Maybe I should have pushed it back immediately. I defended it. Knight c6, another good one. Push back. But then I didn't see that this future tactic coming up. Oh, you played here and the knight takes c5. Totally missed that. If that's the case, then I don't know what to do. Then maybe, because you always have b6 coming. So yeah, I played f4. You played this, and now you have knight takes c5. And I was like, I thought about knight a4, but you would just play like b5 and knight takes c5 anyway. Yeah, fun games. And if we play, yeah, at this point, okay, now I thought all you need to do, because I protected my knight from this tactic, I definitely thought taking here was risky because knight takes just looks too strong for you. That looks too strong. A tempo and I don't want to take because this is check. So after this, I thought there's no reason not to play b6 to save the pawn. You might have been worried about queen here. I wanted to play queen there, but I thought you could just play knight takes pawn, and you're great. I don't have any piece to attack the knight again except for the pawn, but it blocks my queen. So like here, pawn push, and black. Oh, there's an in between move. Black is completely winning here. Yeah. So if you had played b6, I would have taken, and then I'm just down a pawn here. So I got the pawn back. A little bit of relief that I got the pawn back. That was good to stop my queen b5 idea. But rook b1. Thought my rook didn't belong here. a4, b3, and I wanted to obviously trade knights, but you go here, and I was willing to sacrifice the pawn to get some kind of knight outpost. If I don't sacrifice my pawn, I never have a chance to play the outpost because you could just play c6, and you have two knights in strong squares. I wasn't happy. Here, knight c5, castles, and I thought you might just play queen e8. That seems simple enough to grab the pawn, and I think you're still much better here. Because if I play knight d7, you could just take here, and you're doing great. So I think knight e4 allowed me some tricks. Of course, you had a blunder with bishop takes. Of course, pawn here. I was pawn here. Right, you might have been seeing this sequence right here, but you have first pawn here. Then I thought about playing this move, but it can't work because I just lose. Well, I do have this follow up, so that's really weird. I don't know what's going on here. Bishop g1. Oh, forgot about bishop g1. Yeah. Can I actually play this? It feels bad. It really feels like I can't play this for some reason. Takes. What in the world is going on? Takes. Something feels like it's got. There's this. I guess white might be surviving. I'm not sure. But after knight e6, I can't believe knight e6 actually exists. Wait, so there's gotta be something nasty, like push, push, taking. Really? Where's that amazing queen move I'm missing? I'm baffled that 96 is working here. Or is it really working? Or maybe there's something like this, John. Check this out. Check. This check takes and you would be winning. And also, but then the king goes to D here to D2 and takes. Yeah, isn't black up a piece here? Making my head spin a little bit. Takes. Yeah, there you go. That's the obvious win that you missed right there. So obvious. That 10 move sequence, you know. So obvious. And you're up a bishop. Wow. Yeah, definitely rook b. Well, rook b1, and I think you're better here. I think your position's better, but and maybe instead of allowing my little trick, yeah, obviously queen e8 taking the pawn is fine, and then you can always play knight here later. That was really fun. Knight e6, interesting position. Yeah, so that's cool. Master John, are you gonna stream? I'll go in there and raid you, or what do you think? Or do you know any other small time streamers I should raid? I've got to go for a walk. I've got to make my first. I've got to post my first YouTube video ever. I told myself I'm gonna slap myself if I don't post my first YouTube video today. So I'm gonna work on that, and then take a nice walk. Oh, the second. Yeah, let's take a look first. Yeah, I forgot we played 2 games. Sorry. Let's take a look at our second game. Let's take a look at it. I was the black pieces here. Yeah. So the queen's like a gambit style, which is fine. Knight e2, g6, g4. a6 push. I took en passant. Taking was good. Takes. I went here. Queen d6. I thought you would just play here immediately. I don't know if you were concerned about this move, but my knight. If I do this, I thought about doing this sequence. I saw weird things like this, where don't know how to evaluate this. I think white's okay. Maybe queen d2, king d2. It's a wild position, but of course, you don't have to play this sequence. My knight feels kind of awkward here because it can't come out back yet. Maybe you could follow up like this. You shouldn't fear my knight here too much, I don't think. And I'm kind of behind in development, so I don't know. That's an interesting thing. But okay. Queen d3, a6. Yeah, I almost. Oh yeah, the trap. Yeah, I wanted to take here so bad, but there was the queen b5 check that would have destroyed me. Yeah. So I played a6 to deal with that threat, and then I was threatening the pawn again. So you castled logically. Aggressive John style. Nice move. Queen d6. I wanted you to play here and checkmate you, of course, but you weren't about to do that. I thought about just playing b5, b4, going for this like maniacal attack, but I think just simply developing the knight was probably better. Bishop there. I didn't want you to control the diagonal, so I traded off that bishop and tried to replace it with another annoying knight. b3 was reasonable to stop my knight c4, but definitely that was also a mistake. Queen takes pawn check. At this point, at this juncture, what can you do to maybe knight f4 to go to d3? So let's say this line. Oh, there's no. Oh, you must have seen this. There's literally no way you can defend your knight here. Oh, that's a bummer. Because if there was a way to defend the knight, your knight could go back to d3 and then c5. So knight f4 is not working. It's then I don't know what to suggest here. Maybe g5. Go for like bishop g4 ideas. Knight c. Yeah. Now after knight c4. Maybe queen. Oh, but you get pinned and stuff. Yikes. G5 feels too slow. Maybe you have your bishop's in the way of your f file. That's the problem. Yeah, 30 seconds left, so we're running out of time. Yeah, you spent. Yeah, you have like no time left, and so yeah. There was like. I'm trying to find a good plan for white here, though. I just want to find... I'm just obsessed with finding a good move for white here for some reason. Not trying to say a move that you should have played or anything, but just... I'm kind of obsessed with finding... Maybe queen h6. Knight c4. And now you can go for... Now go for the maneuver. Yeah, now something like this. And then now that... Anyway, I don't know. See what Ingalls says? Or the guy I played? Ika? Oh, engine. Yeah. Oh, the engine. Good point. The engine says you can play. It likes you to play just king b1, and then it wants you to go for the knight c1 idea. I think to get your knight into there. But the engine really is biased toward the extra pawn. A little bit too biased about the extra pawn. Okay, so I did this. Go back here. E5. Oh yeah, I wanted to show everybody this tactic. I played E5, and you played Queen B4. I thought I could take your knight. I mean, I thought about this, but I was getting worried about this nice little counter. Yeah, because... Oh, I do have a queen here. I thought bishop takes pawn would be check and my king was here, but it's not there. So I guess I could have tried this. I saw this check and then I thought I totally thought that bishop takes pawn was check and I'm losing my queen. I thought then king here, then queen, bishop check. I thought this was check. And then king has to move and then check and then you take my queen. That's what I saw in my head. So I guess I should have taken the pawn. Engine says I could not take the pawn? Wait, no, engine says I could still do it, but there's a better move. Queen blocks, yeah. Takes. It says I'm still better, but okay, the engine finds something even more annoying like A5 or something. But okay. That was still a fun moment in the game. Knight there. I thought you could take the pawn maybe. Engine says take the pawn, yeah. Yeah, because yeah. But yeah, it's still bad. You don't want to trade queens, obviously. Yeah, and then the rest was like this and yeah. Another break, Divikar. Welcome back. Thank you so much, Master John. Thanks for playing me. Thanks for joining the stream. I really want to check you out in your next stream. Yeah, the only way to, yeah, you can't trade queens there, obviously. Yeah, for sure. Let's look for someone to raid. Who are we gonna raid, guys? There's Chess of the Rings. Who is this guy? Is he still streaming? No, he's not streaming anymore. Let's go to Baby Hey the Gangsta Elo 1778 out of 2300 tactics versus the Cosmic Chess. Oh, a tactics battle? Yeah, let me know when you're streaming again. I think you always do, but I'll check it out. Should we stream the Jamaican guy? Yeah, I'll check out the next one for sure. No Theory, the Penguin Monkey, the Jamaican dude. Anybody have a choice, a preference? Or should I wait till you stream and should I let you start your stream right now, Master John? Are you gonna stream? To a mate. Six rounds. So, No Theory. Do you know No Theory, Master John? Do you know Penguin Monkey? I could raid. You like Tetris, right, Master John? Let's. Oh, okay, let's raid the Tetris dude. If you guys like Tetris, let's raid No Theory. Let's raid No Theory, please.
Good. Lisa?
Check out this Tetris stream.
Oh my god.
And it's ready to raid in just a few seconds. Thank you for joining me, guys. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And have a great day.
Jack can't do Tetris Bros? Okay. Just starting to understand.